Miami fans are in denial about Mario Cristobal. I continue to hear the excuse that it takes 5 years to turn around the program when that couldn't be anything further from the truth. We just saw Curt Cignetti in his first season at Indiana lead that program to their best season ever in the appearance in the college football playoffs. What about Rhett Lashlee? In his third season at SMU, he took that program to the ACC championship game despite playing in their first year in the Power Four conference, and he also made it to the college football playoffs. I didn't see Curt Cignetti and Rhett Lashlee losing the teams that they were favored to beat. So why is it that you have Hurricane fans that just keep living in this false bubble of optimism that Mario Cristobal is a good head coach? This dude is the definition of mid. When you have a huge NIL backing, you are coaching at a program that is located in the hotbed for the best high school recruits in America. If Mario Cristobal is such a great recruiter, why couldn't he keep Jeremiah Smith from leaving home? Why is Jeremiah Smith not playing in a Miami Hurricanes uniform and instead going up north to play for a national championship at Ohio State? You know, Miami has some of the best facilities in college football, and yet Mario Cristobal has continued to do less with more. If it wasn't for Cam Ward this past season, Miami never would have won 10 games. They would have been an 8-win team at best because Cam Ward saved Mario Cristobal's ass for the majority of last season against Virginia Tech, against Cal, when they were getting into a shootout with Duke. That pretty much told me everything I needed to know about what's to come for Mario Cristobal in these next couple of years that he's the head coach of Miami. I just don't have any faith that he is the right head coach to restore Miami football to the level that they used to be in the early 2000s, in the 80s when they had Jimmy Johnson as the head coach. You want to know what's strange? Mario Cristobal, before the start of this season, he hired a clock management coach. And yet, his clock management still sucked this year. You know, it doesn't matter if you bring in a new defensive coordinator. Yeah, the dude that they're bringing in from Minnesota is going to be an upgrade from Lance Guidry. Yeah, Carson Beck is going to be a solid starter. But it still doesn't matter because the main problem still remains, that being Mario Cristobal. He's not a good head coach. Eventually, a lot of Miami fans are about to realize that Mario is continuing the same cycle when it comes to head coaches at this program that we've seen for the last 14 years. The same excuses that people are using to defend Mario Cristobal are the same excuses that they made for Al Golden. Remember, he needed more time. They said the same thing about Mark Richt. What about Manny Diaz? You know, it just continues to be the same rinse, wash, and repeat cycle when it comes to head coaches with Miami football. And I don't have any hope that Miami is going to surpass the level that they reached with Cam Ward, the greatest quarterback to ever lace up the cleats for Miami, because Carson Beck is no Cam Ward. He's good, not great. He's not going to be able to overcome the level of incompetent coaching that he's going to receive from Mario Cristobal. It's one thing to be an elite recruiter, elite at acquiring a lot of talent out of the transfer portal, but it's another to be able to take that kind of talent and to put it in a position to succeed. You see, when you're a head coach, you're like a chess player. Every coach that you go up against every single week your team plays has access to the same chess pieces. But what separates the best players in chess from the average to bad chess players are how well they can put their opponents in position to win the game. And Mario Cristobal does a poor job of that. To me, he's the second coming of Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher had the same issues at Texas A&M. Bad clock management, great recruiter, but just an average to below average game day head coach. I just don't have any optimism that Miami is going to be competing for a spot in the college football playoffs or for the ACC title. I'm not about to believe in Mario Cristobal when you got Dabo Swinney making changes, actually using the transfer portal, bringing in Tom Allen as his defensive coordinator. You got Bill Belichick coaching at North Carolina now. You know, I just do not have the same amount of faith in Mario Cristobal as what a lot of Hurricane fans do. And you can call me a hater all you want to, but Mario has a lot to prove in 2025 because he was carried by a generational quarterback. If Rhett Lashlee would have had Cam Ward, they might have beaten Penn State in the first round of the playoffs. If Curt Cignetti would have had Cam Ward, maybe they upset Notre Dame in the first round of the playoffs. You know, those coaches weren't losing to schools like Syracuse and Georgia Tech. And they had less talent than what Mario Cristobal had to work with. Rhett Lashlee made it to the playoffs with Miami's junior varsity squad. He has so many former Miami players on that roster, and somehow he's able to get more out of them than what Mario was. I think that's a huge red flag, don't you?